You've probably seen the letter K used with numbers all the time. A YouTube video might have 100K views. Someone on social media might celebrate reaching 10K followers. Even salaries are sometimes written like 50K a year. But here's something interesting. Why do we use the letter K to represent 1,000? Why not use T since the word thousand starts with T? Or why not just write the full number? The answer actually goes back thousands of years and involves ancient languages, science, and the metric system. As numbers grow larger, writing them out becomes messy. For example, 1,000 1,000, 100 yon, 1,000 econ. The bigger the number gets, the harder it becomes to read quickly. This becomes especially inconvenient in places where space is limited, like newspapers, charts, or digital screens. So, throughout history, people have looked for ways to shorten large numbers without losing meaning. And that's where the letter K eventually comes in. But its origin actually starts with an ancient Greek word. The letter K comes from the word kilo. This word comes from the ancient Greek term kilioi, which means 1,000. Over time, the word evolved into the shorter prefix kilo, which still means 1,000 units of something. This prefix became very important when scientists developed a standardized way to measure things. That system would later become known as the metric system. In the late 18th century, scientists wanted to create a universal system of measurement. Before that, different regions used different units, which made trade and science confusing. So they designed the metric system, which is based on simple multiples of 10. In this system, prefixes are used to represent different amounts. For example, 1,000 meters equals 1 kilometer. 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram. 1,000 watts equals 1 kilowatt. In each case, the prefix kilo represents 1,000. And because the word kilo begins with K, the letter K became the official abbreviation. Originally, the letter K was mostly used in science and engineering. But eventually, people realized it could also be useful in everyday writing. Instead of writing long numbers like 10,000, you could simply write 10K. This shorthand quickly spread to fields like finance, business, and media. For example, $20K, $20,000, 50K people, equals 50,000 people, 100K views, equals 100,000 views. It made numbers easier to read, especially when space was limited. You might still wonder why we didn't just use the letter T. After all, the word thousand starts with T. But the abbreviation didn't come from the English word thousand. It came from the scientific prefix kilo. Because scientists and engineers were already using K to represent 1,000 units, the symbol naturally spread into other areas of life. Once a symbol becomes widely accepted, people rarely replace it. The use of K for thousand became even more common with the rise of the internet. On platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, numbers can become very large very quickly. Instead of showing long numbers like 125,000 views, platforms often display 125K views. And instead of writing 2,000 followers, they might display 2M followers. These abbreviations make numbers easier to read, especially on mobile screens where space is limited. Another reason K became popular is that it works internationally. The word thousand changes from language to language, but the prefix kilo is part of the universal metric system used around the world. So whether someone speaks English, French, Spanish, or many other languages, the letter K still represents the same number. So the next time you see something like 100K views or 50K followers, remember that the letter K isn't just a random shortcut. It's actually connected to a system of measurement and a word that dates back to ancient Greek language. A simple letter that has helped represent large numbers for centuries.